Hi, everybody. My name is Sheila Rupp. I'm joining you from Los Angeles. Welcome to our December Candid Conversations. I'm joined by Amy Selix, and we're just really excited to have you all join us tonight. We know that there are 1,000 places you could be, but we're really grateful that you chose to spend a little time with us tonight and each other to engage in some colorful, candid conversation and learn a little bit more about Starbucks and also Stronghold Food Pantry tonight. So, with that, I will turn it over to you, Amy.
Yes. Thank you, Sheila. Like Sheila said, we are lucky enough to have Leslie Jones with Starbucks joining us tonight. And a little bit later, we'll have Monica Bassett with Stronghold join us as well. She was supposed to be on last month, and unfortunately, we had to cancel last minute. So we apologize for that. But the information that she has to share, we find very valuable, and we want to get that information to you guys as well. So, I will just kick it off to Leslie. Leslie is also a former, or not former, she is a current military spouse to a National Guardsman, and she's with Starbucks. And she's here to tell us all about the different things that Starbucks does to support our military community. So, Leslie, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Amy and Sheila. Good evening, everybody. As Amy mentioned, my name is Leslie Jones. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm really, really excited to just share more about not only like kind of my personal experience connection to the military, but also what brought me to Starbucks, and then also the great work that we do at Starbucks, and some unique benefits and opportunities for military connected individuals that we have as a company. So I'm going to share screen really quick, and it's hard for me to do two things at once, very candidly. So I'm just going to take a second and reground. But Amy, if you could give me a thumbs up if you can see slides, perfect. Okay. Um, so just a little bit of background on me. I live just outside of New Orleans, Louisiana, in a small town called Mandeville, if you're familiar with that area. My title at Starbucks is our global responsibility lead, and that's a really long-winded way to say that I work on our social impact team, leading some really important initiatives for Starbucks and the Starbucks Foundation. My main priority, my main job is to lead our veteran and military affairs here at Starbucks. But I also have two Starbucks Foundation portfolios focused on disaster response and youth empowerment. So I wear a few different hats just based on like some background and experience I have prior to joining Starbucks. And I am also a part-time hot yoga teacher. I am a full-time Taylor Swift fan, absolute Swiftie. So if there's any other Swifties on the call, please plug in your favorite Taylor Swift song in the chat, and I'll compare and maybe judge tiny little bit, maybe. No, just kidding. But I also love to think of myself as a trophy wife to my husband. He has been in the Army National Guard for 6 years, but prior to that was 6 years active duty Army. So we were stationed in Fort Riley, Kansas that entire time. So we had a really unique experience, did not move as much. But however, I actually did deploy as a military spouse overseas to Kuwait when I was working for the American Red Cross and ran Red Cross operations for US CENTCOM for about 6, 7 months. So, had some time in Kansas, but also kind of moved around a little bit for my own work, which is definitely unique to the military spouse community. And we have two boys. My beautiful boys are pictured here on the screen. I have an almost 16-year-old that is now taller than me, which is pretty crazy, and an 11-year-old. And, we've been here back home in Louisiana for just over 6 years, and it's been really it's interesting for me to kind of weigh that transition off of active duty and then just like how this has sort of been our family's normal for so long, which I'm sure maybe some of you can relate to with different transitions in the military. And I think COVID probably created like a little bit of a blur there for me too, just with timeline. And then at Starbucks, we always kind of kick off our introductions with our favorite Starbucks drink. Mine kind of ebbs and flows with the seasons, but really right now, iced coffee is my go-to every day. But it's finally becoming cold. Louisiana finally got the memo that it's December, so I actually have switched over to some hot lattes as well. And then we'll just skip on through. And I wanted to share with you guys a picture of my amazing team at Starbucks. I could not do anything that I do without these amazing people right here. You can see that we have a lot of fun together. We come together a lot. My broader team is the social impact team. So we lead a lot of our employee engagement programming, a lot of nonprofit partnerships. And so although we do work really hard, we try to have a lot of fun, but also we are making sure that we are also giving back to the community through our partnerships by our team and kind of setting that example for the rest of the company. So you see us here, we're volunteering with Feeding America in Seattle. Also, that lower bottom right photo, we're actually making paracord lanyards for Operation Gratitude Care packages. The team really loves to rally around military and veteran support. So it's just, it's a cause that we can all get behind. Not everybody has maybe a connection to recovering from a natural disaster or food insecurity or just different causes that we support at Starbucks. However, most people have military and veteran individuals and their families. Definitely everybody has them in their communities. So it's just definitely an area that a lot of people can get behind and support. So we're happy to do that, and we're honored to do that at Starbucks. My team loves to do it too. So just to share a little bit of background on our military commitment at Starbucks, we dedicated, this is our 11th year of our military commitment. We made a kind of public proclamation dedication in around Veterans Day in 2013 around hiring military spouses and veterans. I find that really unique here. Maybe not as much as time has evolved, but Starbucks was really ahead of the curve and making that commitment to hiring spouses as well as veterans. So since 2013, we've hired over 40,000 veterans and military spouses through our retail stores, through our corporate teams, any different team area that you see. We have remote roles, we have our in-person roles for our spouses and veterans. But we have also really unique benefits for our military connected employees. So we offer that, 80 hours of service pay if you have reserve duty or National Guard duty for your family. We have a really unique employee resource group. It was actually our first employee resource group here at Starbucks, the Armed Forces Network, that I partner with really closely on bringing a lot of initiatives and programs from our nonprofit partners to life. And then the one really unique benefit I'll share is our Starbucks College Achievement Program. We call it our SCAP program because it's kind of a mouthful, but anybody that works at Starbucks, barista all the way up, is eligible for a free online ASU degree. So you can go to Arizona State University through our Starbucks College Achievement Program and finish your degree, quit Starbucks the next day. Nothing, is tying you to the company. So it's a really, really unique to offer that opportunity to not only our employees, but the one really cool thing is if you're a military spouse or a veteran Starbucks employee, you can pass your SCAP benefit onto one dependent. So for example, my 16-year-old son, he's going to be gearing up for college soon. I do not need the SCAP benefit. I went to college before joining Starbucks. So my son, I can pass that on to him, which is really special. And I think that's a really unique thing as a military spouse to think about, because sometimes we might turn and look at our service member and think about the benefits, the GI Bills, the things that they're able to pass on. But with a role at Starbucks, having that, feeling that empowered and being able to pass that on as a military spouse is really special. One other thing we have is our military family stores, which I'll talk a lot more about in a few minutes. But when we dive down into our impact and our giving, this is really where my work comes to life. We have connected almost 1 million. This is actually kind of about a year dated, so we've probably hit over 1 million at this point, provided different services to veterans, spouses, and military communities through our veteran service organization partnerships. We work really specifically with a handful of national VSO, Veteran Service Organization partners each year, but our Starbucks partners in our communities, we call all of our employees partners, they have the ability to go and make those local connections. So lots of Starbucks locations partner with USO and different organizations that we might not have on a national level. So this is honestly just a snapshot of the work that I'm able to capture. There is a ton more work that's going on every single day. Donations that are going out to military units that are deployed, in-store events where Starbucks is hosting military families with a local nonprofit. Just a lot of great things happening in different communities. And then with our in-kind donations, we have been donating through mainly Operation Gratitude. We have a great relationship with that organization, and we donate every Operation Gratitude care package contains one Starbucks item. So that's kind of where you see we're able to calculate this giving and in kind, with partnership with Operation Gratitude, and by way of coffee, by way of snacks, different Starbucks items that make it into the Operation Gratitude care packages. And lastly, I'll just mention, only because Monica will be joining. I don't know if she's already on, but we have a really unique program through our Starbucks Foundation called the Neighborhood Grants Program, in which we have Starbucks partners all across the country nominate local nonprofits for smaller grants, to where we can see that local giving and that local impact through our partners' voices. And so Stronghold Food Pantry has actually received a few neighborhood grants from us, and lots of different organizations in the military and veteran space are nominated by our partners through the neighborhood grants round. So we're seeing lots of local engagement and donations going to those communities that need it most there. I will transition. This is just a snapshot of our legacy of support. You can see here we kind of have various milestones by year. 2013 is when we kicked off that our military commitment. And really for the first several years, we were focused on more hiring and more of creating a sense of belonging for our military and veteran connected partners that join Starbucks. We probably all know, like, it's different to join a company or join a team that might not have military or veteran connections immediately around them. So we really wanted to hone in and be a center of excellence for our veterans, spouses, and maybe military children that have joined us as an employee, to feel that sense of belonging, to feel connected to their immediate work community that they're with. Most, we spend most of our time with those people we work with. And then really when COVID happened, that transition, we started to build in investments to help military communities thrive. So this is where we kind of transitioned from that hiring focus to more of those community investments, and how we can bolster nonprofits to leverage our resources and bring more connection into the military community. Different milestones throughout the years, but one thing I'll call out that I'm super proud of this past year is we joined USAA and Elizabeth Dole Foundation's coalition called Face the Fight. I'm not sure if you are aware of that coalition. We're official coalition members now. And the coalition's mission is to focus on reducing suicide within our military and veteran community. And they offer various training and prevention methods through their website, and they're all virtual. You can all go and join them and review them, take them if you wanted to. But we really wanted to figure out what's our superpower here with this partnership? What can we do as Starbucks? And the coalition was able to build that connection with us to the VA. Being a government entity, things are a little tricky sometimes when a for-profit company wants to partner. So we actually partnered with the coalition, and they were able to connect us to the VA, where we donated 10,000 Starbucks gift cards for the VA's Buddy Check Week, which just happened this past October, to try to help drive more connection. If you're not familiar with Buddy Check Week, it's where a veteran, military spouse, or caregiver pledges to connect with 10 individuals in that same circle to just reduce isolation, build connection. And in 2023, throughout the whole year, the VA had around 5,500 pledges. And we got over 10,000 pledges in 36 hours with our partnership with the VA. So just really, really exciting to see how we were able to, leverage our brand to kind of come in. Our brand is focused around that connection and meeting folks for coffee and having that conversation, just in a comfortable space over a great cup of coffee. And so, we were really, really excited to be able to partner with them this past year. And we actually saw throughout the whole campaign get over 20,000 pledges. So, connecting over 200,000 veterans, caregivers, and spouses was super special for us. So that's our big win for 2024. And I'm excited to see what we do in 2025. And just a snapshot here of what our military and veteran social impact is. If maybe take a step back, if you're not familiar, a lot of for-profit companies have corporate social impact teams where they have different initiatives that they have kind of rallied behind. Some other really great best-in-class companies that have military and veteran programs are, I think, people like Home Depot, USAA, are some other great ones. And we just really wanted to figure out what makes Starbucks unique in this space. And I always kind of, when I joined Starbucks, was brought back to my personal story of Starbucks and what it's meant for me as a military spouse and just my journey. When I deployed to Kuwait, I actually had been traveling for over about 48 hours on planes, off planes, waiting around, moving with the military, it's kind of slow. And the first thing I wanted to do when I landed was contact my family. And I didn't have Wi-Fi yet on my phone. And somebody said, well, the only place you can get free Wi-Fi is the Starbucks. And so I walked over to the Starbucks, was able to make my first phone call home. And although it was in a shipping container, I walked inside those doors and it looked exactly like the Starbucks I was used to in my PX and my military installation, and just felt really, really special. And so I've always kind of been brought back to that moment and thought about how can we emulate what Starbucks is in that moment, that connection for our military communities. And I think that really there's a lot of really big challenges within our military community when we think about mental health. Typically that takes front and center with a lot of different organizations and companies. But working with the military community for so many years, I've just truly seen that there's a lot more, there needs to be more attention on those root causes that are creating the challenges around mental health. So food insecurity, financial instability, lack of connection, feeling isolated in your community, or feeling disconnected from the civilian community that you're kind of transplanted into. So Starbucks, I just see as the way to truly be that sense of home no matter where you are. With that, I'll kind of talk a little bit more about our military family stores. So our military family stores are traditional Starbucks stores that you will see in communities. However, they are within a close proximity to either a military installation, a training base, a VA hospital. And that store's sole kind of purpose is to obviously serve that great coffee and have the community come in. But being dedicated as a military family store, they are the ones that we kind of turn to as best in class in programming and partnerships with our nonprofit organizations, whether that's the national organizations or the local ones that they choose to partner with. So we have over 120 military family stores that are out in civilian communities. And we just this last year rolled in all of the Army and Air Force Exchange military or Starbucks stores into our military family store portfolio. So they will soon start to partner with organizations like Blue Star Families and bring in some programming into the stores that you see there, maybe at your PX, or you have a standalone one potentially. And we're eager to see how we can potentially roll that out with other branches of service. There's a lot of kind of back end things that I learned joining Starbucks, and if it's in a Target or if it's in a military base, it's considered kind of a licensed store. There's kind of special structure to it. So that's why we kicked it off with Army and Air Force Exchange, because they were our largest account. But I know we're eager to make sure we expand to serve all branches of service. So if you're interested in finding out where our military family stores are, I'm happy to share that offline with you if you're interested in being connected to one. But I would say that if you are curious and want to build more relationships with local Starbucks stores, they don't have to be military family stores. And every one of our stores has a goal of serving the community that they're operating within. And so we definitely want to make sure that we don't miss out on a chance to connect maybe you to a store just because it's not a military family store if you were interested. So I've talked about our stores and kind of the role we play in connection and how I really see us stepping in to maybe lighten that burden for our military community. But one of the other really key assets we have is our Starbucks partners, our employees. So they are again super passionate to support the military community, and we'll try to find some unique ways to do that. We have two moments as a company where we go really big with our military and veteran commitment. This most recent one has been Veterans Day. So on Veterans Day, any veteran or military spouse can get a free cup of coffee from their local store. It's a tall, hot coffee, and we just really try to see that as like an opportunity for us to show our appreciation to you. Maybe you grab that cup of coffee and you have a conversation with somebody you meet up in the store. It's not a really extravagant thing. We recognize that, but we just want our military community to know that we see you and we honor you, and we hope that you join us and find that connection in store if possible. And then we also do a campaign in May around Military Appreciation Month. So I'm going to actually stop sharing because that was my last slide, and I'll finish up with this because this is in the works right now. We're planning it, but with Military Appreciation Month, we actually do an e-gift card give back. So I don't know if you have your Starbucks app, if you have the Starbucks app, but in the app you can purchase e-gift cards and send them out to either you can send them to yourself, you can send them to folks in your community. And during the month of May, we actually have special military design gift cards. And every purchase of one of those military cards, e-gift cards, we will donate $5 split evenly to nonprofit organizations. And so we're not super sure which organizations those will be for fiscal year or for 2025. But we have in years past gotten up to over $270,000 donated, and that's split evenly between the two organizations. So it's a really fun campaign. It's really where we get to it's all month long. So it's a little bit longer than Veterans Day. We get to the programming comes to life a little bit more. And we get to give back to some awesome nonprofits in a unique way too. So